Hi everybody, my name is Blue Phoenix. Some people like to call me Eric. That's my nickname. Today's topic is how can you know if you're aromantic if you've never dated or gotten into a romantic relationship before? Let's break down romantic attraction into two parts because what aromanticism is referring to is a lack of romantic attraction. So we have two parts. There's the initial crush and there's a desire for a long-term romantic relationship. If you experience either of those, technically you're not aromantic. So let's examine those two in more detail. The initial crush is just this desire to get to know somebody better. If it's romantic in nature, then it can become obsessive, and thoughts about the person are a bit intrusive. So you'll think about them at times where you're trying to concentrate on something else, or they're not even around, and you're thinking about them quite a bit. Crushes can also make you jealous. If somebody else is showing romantic attention to the target of your crush, or if they already have a romantic partner, then you tend to get jealous if it's a crush. This is in contrast to a squish, which is this platonic desire to get to know somebody better as a friend. You may think about them quite a bit, but it's not quite as obsessive, and there's certainly no feeling of jealousy if, let's say, they have a romantic partner. You might feel jealous that that romantic partner is monopolizing their time, but you don't feel like you're supposed to be that romantic partner. It's just that you wish you could spend a lot more time with them. There's also the desire for a romantic relationship. The definitions for a romantic relationship are just all over the place. You ask 10 different people who are like married or have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, they're all going to give you a different answer. But most of these answers would include that it is a long-term commitment and it's exclusive. So they only have one spouse. They only have one girlfriend or boyfriend. In the case of polyamory, this exclusivity can include more than one other person. But at the very least, any thought of including other people into that relationship would require a very serious discussion with all the people involved. So also, romantic partners are typically considered as more important than anyone else in that person's life, other than maybe children. So a man's wife or whatever is typically going to get more attention than his friends. Just the way it is. It's not 100% universal true, but most of the time it is. If you've never been on a date or a romantic partnership before and you're wondering if you're aromantic, it boils down to two questions. Have you ever felt a crush? Is there somebody that you've been infatuated with or obsessed with? If thinking of this target being in a romantic relationship with somebody else makes you jealous, then it's probably a crush. The other question is, do you really desire a long-term romantic relationship? Do you want somebody else's daily attention in your life, and do you want to provide that attention back to them? Do you want somebody to share in your daily activities, or who invites you to everything that they want to do with their friends, and you have to invite them for everything you do with your friends? This will be somebody that's going to be there pretty much every day of your life. Good times, bad times, hopefully. If you're lucky, they'll stick around for the bad times too. Got a hay truck driving by. Sorry about that. So, do you have a desire for that relationship? If you can answer no, that nope, you never had a crush, and no, you don't have a desire for a romantic relationship, then you probably are aromantic. If it's a definite maybe, then you're probably gray romantic. If you think maybe you felt crushes before, but you don't have that desire for a relationship, or you have the desire for a relationship but not the crushes, maybe you're gray romantic. If you're still confused about the whole idea about whether you have felt this or not, then you probably want to sit down and spend some more time thinking about it. And if you have spent a whole lot of time thinking about it already, you might consider yourself coy romantic. Coy, I hope I'm saying that right, coy romantic, or WTF romantic, which are folks who just are permanently confused about the idea of romance. I think I'm getting that right. It's hard for me to understand that concept. So if you've never dated before and you've never had a full romantic relationship, how can you know you wouldn't like it until you tried it? As an analogy, let's take sushi. When I first heard about sushi, you're eating raw fish, and I thought, oh, that's going to be gross. But when I tried it, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Does that really apply to romantic relationships? Can you just go out and just try it and see if you like it? Well, first, I think you should examine if you're currently happy being single, or if you're in a romantic relationship right now. So you would be watching this video. Would you be happier being single? If you imagine being in a typical romantic relationship, does that make you happier, or does it just make you feel more anxious, like this just wouldn't work for you? If you're not happy being single, do you think romance is what would bring you happiness? Or do you think that just making more friends would help you, or trying out new hobbies or activities? Oftentimes people will assume that a romantic relationship is the cure for being unhappy if you're single. But that's a dangerous assumption, because a lot of people will then force themselves into a relationship where they don't actually like the other person or love the other person, and it can make them miserable. Some of those relationships do work out, but to assume that a romantic relationship will bring you happiness is a very dangerous assumption. Another point that I would like to make is, should you consider trying dating just to see if you would like dating? In my opinion, dating itself is pretty harmless until a more solid relationship forms, assuming that you feel safe around the other person. You should never date somebody unless you feel safe around them. Getting in a one-on-one situation with somebody you don't want to be around is not a great choice. But if you do tend to get anxious in these one-on-one situations, then dating can actually be really good practice for you to open up and become more comfortable in those situations. And the key here for dating is just to realize that you have nothing to lose by going out on a date. I mean, maybe you lose an evening of time, maybe you have to pay the dinner bill or the movie tickets, but you don't have anything to lose. If the person you're dating tries to make a move on you or does something you're not comfortable with, just tell them that. Make sure that they know. Don't let them take advantage of you. And dating can be very harmless in that way. However, it starts to become a little bit more, maybe the word to use here is dangerous, dangerous when those dates start to get more serious. After 3 or 4 weeks of dating, maybe you start to call each other boyfriend and girlfriend. If at this point you start to realize that, yes, you're just not happy, you're thinking, yeah, okay, I think I am aromantic now, and you have to go break up, that can hurt both you and your partner very much. So it's not just a harmless experiment. It's not like just eating some sushi to see if you like it. It's really up to you to weigh out the risk versus the benefit here. And I would say don't ever enter a relationship as an experiment without first explaining that to the other person. But if you're really feeling deep down inside that this might make you happy and you really like being around this person, then just go for it. Don't cling to that aromantic label just to prove that you're still aromantic. If you're feeling really happy with this person, then go for it by all means. In summary, I don't think that you need to try dating or relationships to know that you are aromantic. If you're certain that you've never felt a crush in your life and you don't wish to enter a romantic relationship, then you're probably aromantic. There's nothing wrong with letting people know that you haven't felt romantic attraction in your life yet, and you probably never will. The emphasis being on you probably never will. And who knows, maybe several years down the road that could change and you'll start feeling romantic attraction. There's that hay truck again. I think it's the same one. Is he lost? Anyway, that's all I got this time. I actually got some new flowers planted. They're thriving. They're looking pretty good. So I feel a little bit better about this batch. Hopefully the chipmunks don't eat these too. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. Hope you found that really helpful. See ya.